So I grew up in New York and I went to university down in Virginia. And there's quite a few differences between living in the US and living in the UK, specifically London. First of all, the language can be very different. There's a saying here that we're two nations divided by a common language, which kind of describes how it is. So living here for over 3 years now, I've gotten pretty good with knowing all of the language differences, but when I meet people from Northern England, there are some things that they say I just have no idea what they're talking about. I am gonna do a video on language differences. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that. Probably the most interesting example of what I went through when I first moved here is that the English call underwear pants. So I kept saying pants when I meant trousers, and people thought I meant underwear and I was talking about my underwear, and it was a little uncomfortable. If you've been to England before, you might have noticed that sometimes the English can be so polite that it's like to a fault. I'm from New York. While I wouldn't say I'm rude, I definitely think that quite a few New Yorkers are, or at least they're very straightforward. The English are often so polite that they don't ask for what they actually want. For example, when we go to a restaurant, instead of saying that something's gone wrong with their order or with the meal, they just won't say anything. And as a New Yorker who likes her good service, I'm not like that. That's another topic we can get into, service. Quite often the service here is not anything what we're used to back in the US. And I'm not gonna lie, I do get a little worked up over it sometimes. I totally get that things are different here and I try to be as patient as I possibly can, especially as I don't want to embarrass my husband. But things can take so long here sometimes. The wait staff aren't attentive, and when things do go wrong, like really long, really wrong, you have to actually ask for them to take something off the bill or give you something for it. One of the things that I love about living in the UK over the US is that we have a much better work-life balance here. Like, much better. For example, by law, employees in the UK have to be given 20 days of holiday a year. It's the law, they have to give it to them. In the US, the last time I checked, there is no minimum for how many days a company has to give an employee for holiday, vacation days. All of my British friends here cannot believe that it's standard for employees to get only 10 days of vacation days back in the US. Here, you're also expected to take that holiday. Some companies won't let it roll over to the next year or won't give you the money for it because they want people to actually take those days off and rest. Whereas in the US, I saw a statistic the other day, it's like something like 70% of people in the US don't even take all of their holiday time. That's insane. A really big difference that we have here in the UK over the US is healthcare. So the UK runs on a public health system called the NHS. It's paid for by taxes, which just makes it incredibly complicated because it's even more of a facet of politics than it is in the US. There are pros and cons of each system. For me, I have to pay for it because I'm an immigrant. It's literally called the immigrant healthcare surcharge, which I have to pay when I get my new visas. But in the end, I do prefer it here because I never would be able to go freelance, especially if I was single, if we didn't have the NHS. Something that I love about the UK is that people generally are healthier here. From my experience, people walk way more here than they do in the US. They eat more fruits and vegetables, and they eat smaller portions. As someone who likes to eat healthy and also take care of myself, I really love that. And every time I go back to the States, I find it harder and harder to find healthier choices on menus at restaurants and in fast food places. I can't find anything that I actually wouldn't mind eating. And the portions, I can barely even eat half of them anymore. It's nice, I've shrunk my stomach since I've been here. Things tend to be smaller here. So cars, houses, people. It's more of a less is more attitude here than it is in the US, where I think America is all about bigger and better and more. As someone who prefers to live a more minimalistic lifestyle, the UK is a really good fit for me. We're also much better at recycling than the US is. Way better. My husband, every time we go to the US, cannot believe how badly everyone recycles there, which I think is not Americans' fault. I think it's something that needs to come from the government, which is why it's so big here, because you actually get in trouble if you don't recycle here. And in much of Europe, it's like that. So those are the main big differences between living in the UK and the US. So in the comments, I want you guys to ask me questions about other differences that I've found. Or if you've ever lived in the UK and the US, what are some differences that you noticed when you were living here? And I will see you in next week's video.